talks we've had this morning, and I think about the challenges and the way that many of you in the room are solving them, I really think these are my people, and I'm super pleased to be here and learn from all of you. I also see a steal your face sticker on this computer over here, so someone's really my person. So I'm pleased to be here. When Steve was, there goes my mic, I guess it's back up. He called publishers, and I think he called me personally a polyglot, and I was like, damn, that's kind of a hard word. I don't know what that means. And I felt like maybe those were fighting words, and then he called Jim Spanfeller that, and I thought, okay, well, I'm in good company anyways. All right, here we go. So when I think about today's theme, engagement, and how we make money doing it, and how important should video be in a strategy, and how do we all survive in a duopoly plus Amazon world, we all face those challenges, and I'm going to share a narrative today about one way that we do it where we've been really successful. And I'd love questions on it, and I'd love to learn about how you do that too. And so it's about a show that we run called the PC Gaming Show, and I'll get into that in a minute, but I just would like to introduce you to Future just for a moment. So Future is a global publishing company. We are traded on the London Stock Exchange. We run 155 different brands that are magazines, websites, events. This is our consumer portfolio, so just in the US, so it's a small smattering. We're very strong in technology, gaming, music, B2B. And one thing that we think of is we love all our brands because they serve an audience in a really important way, and that could be information, passion, utility, commerce. And we have a pretty aggressive strategy on how we monetize that audience. And it's not just ad-supported, it's ads, it's subscriptions, it's video, it's e-commerce. And we're always diversifying that monetization model because that's what really helps us thrive in a really consolidated landscape. The final thing about us is that we believe in profitability across the board. So we love growth, but 155 brands, every single one of which is profitable. And if they're not, then we look really hard at that. And in the magazine business, you have to look hard at that all the time. So that's a bit about Future. Let me tell you a little bit about this case study. So we run a show, and we've done it for 5 years, called the PC Gaming Show. And it runs concurrent to E3, so in June in Los Angeles. And this is just an overview of this year's event. So we ran it at a theater called the Mind Theater this year. It was our 5th turn on it. It was June 10th. And the big stat there is this year, we got about 19 billion press impressions on this. So it's a differentiated show for us. And I'll talk about some of the other key stats in a moment. But the format is essentially a press show. So it's a live event. But we've turned it into a really big streaming video franchise that we monetize in a big way. So I'm not going to give you the full dollar value of the show, because we're live streaming, but I can talk to you about that maybe when we golf or go on a brewery tour or do all of the above. So what I'd like to do now is just give you a flavor for the show. So I've got a little sizzle reel too. I'm not sure the music is as cool as Jim's, but let's take a look at that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PC Gaming Show!
This is the PC Gaming Show.
That was a pretty good voice of God there too for us. So you get the sense of this thing. So it is a press show. It's live. It happens on a day at a time. But it's really a big video franchise for us. So a big streaming video franchise. So here's some of the key stats, which is the one that I'm the most responsible for is do we grow revenue on the thing? And this year we had great growth on it, 40%. It is a 7-figure day for us, so quite a substantial piece of our business. And if we think about viewership and engagement, I wanted to provide some of the key stats because that's the theme of the day. And so this is video, it's live, and what we see is 5.9 million people, welcome to the PC Gaming Show. It's big distribution, and 3.2 million of those were during the live stream. So that's a good-sized TV show, period, on any given day. We then had a lot of video on demand. And one stat that we're really, really proud of is how many people at any given moment, like the peak moment. So this year, the peak was 722,000 concurrents. And so this is an engagement metric, when you think about video, that becomes really important. And this is a metric that's talked a lot about on the big streaming platform. So Twitch is our streaming partner for this, and that's where this comes from. So we're always thinking about how many concurrent viewers, because that's going to drive a lot of the engagement and then monetization we take from a show like this. So it's an impressive show. We've got a lot of different partners, from Twitch to Facebook Live to YouTube to Twitter. We actually partnered with one of our competitors, IGN. They ran the stream on their site too. So there's this whole network of distribution that really helps us build something that's fully differentiated. So you think about 19 billion press impressions, and here's what they say. They say it's a damn good show. Vice said it's the best show at E3. And we didn't get there overnight. It wasn't always the best show. So the history on this show is 6 years ago, the gentlemen who run PCGamer.com and the PC Gamer magazine had this dream. They're like, wow, every year at E3, all the big companies, Nintendo, Ubisoft, EA, run these huge press events, and they're all talking about consoles, and we really believe in people playing games on PCs. And what if we ran a show? What would we talk about? What would we do? And so they wrote an article the first year, just words and pictures. And the next year they said, let's not just do an article, let's try to run a show. And it was like a shoestring show. We didn't spend a lot of money on it. We didn't have a lot of viewers. We did generate some sponsorship. So this sort of traditional model of asking people to be the title sponsor of the PC Gaming Show. And I think that first year, AMD, the chip maker, stood up. So we're right here in their home in Austin, and we were pleased with that. Intel has been a presenting sponsor. So right in that sweet spot for PC gaming. But it was still a growth project, and we're now in year 5. We just completed in June. You saw the stats. It's now a really big franchise for us, and this is what I think the value of the case is to share with all of you, which is how do we do it? So we think about it as its own franchise and its own potential to be a big part of our revenue portfolio, our engagement portfolio, a fully differentiated brand that we run. So there's PC Gamer, and then there's this brand, the PC Gaming Show. And then we promote it as such. So we have a really hardcore look at the way that we promote it from starting as soon as April, really working social, working our own network, working press, and then getting right up to the show and just blowing it up that day. And that really helps us get excitement for viewership, and that leads to the big numbers that you saw. We have, as I mentioned, a big network, and there was a question when we looked at Geo, how do people cross between the two? And so one thing that we do really well is we've got a big portfolio of tech sites, gaming sites, and those two things run together. So for sure, we self-promote across our network, and it's a big network. It's 100 million people per month, and so that gives us a big install base to say this is really exciting and it's relevant to you. And so I think that's a big component about thinking about those crossovers within your portfolio that can help you build a bigger network effect for something that you're trying to grow or something that you're trying to keep as a differentiated asset. We look at social, obviously. We do paid social for it. We do a lot of organic social. We look at how people share it and how that helps us on the day as well as build traffic toward it. And so that leads me to a couple of takeaways for all of you on how to think about building a video franchise, driving engagement, but making money along the way. And so the first one's the most obvious, which is if you see the potential to build a franchise or if you've got great ideas within your company, go for it, because it's a good long-term play. We know that, we're going to talk about OTT today and all these opportunities. This is very real. We know that young people are consuming video more than ever, but just doing it on lots of different platforms. So there's an opportunity, whether you've been a print publisher, which traditionally we were a magazine publisher, to think about building video. And that's a long-term play. It will serve you well. The second thought there is, so how do you build it up big? So this path to significant distribution is one where you automatically think YouTube. Well, that's the biggest video platform, billions of users. That's really important. But then Twitch is another platform. Lots of people think about it in the game world, but it's becoming much more than that. It's really a major live streaming platform. Of course, it's owned by Amazon, so we get into that duopoly plus Amazon world. And then it requires lots of network effects, so whether that's social or running it through your own network. And you've got to consider all of those factors, Facebook Live being another one, to really get the word out and then get the viewership up. So for us, this is a really important one. I told you that my company really believes in profitability across the board. It's our key metric in terms of how we define success. The market loves profitability too. And so on this one, as I mentioned, the first year, we didn't run a big high production value show. So that cool sizzle reel I showed you, that's not what year one would have looked like. It would have looked very different. And the advice I'd give all of you as you're building up these franchises, one, take the shot, build them up. They don't all work. But as they are working and as you are growing and building your playbook and muscle around how you make these successful, what we've done is just ramp production value as we're ramping engagement and revenue. So don't start with a high cost base and get the false negative, which is, this show didn't make money. We won't do it again next year. It's not profitable. What we've done is, as we're making more money, as we're driving more engagement, we're ramping that production value. And so this year, we work with one of the best production houses in LA to do this. If you see the theater, it's equipped with every amazing camera that you can imagine. And we're going to do more with it next year. So this still looks like a live show. You saw that. We're going to even do more. Think about NBC's amazing coverage of the Olympics over the years where they're talking about athletes and then they're doing the little side segments. We're going to start to do more of that. We'll even make it look more and more professional. And as we do that, our partners become more interested in this being not only an opportunity to showcase their game, showcase their technology, but really a premium asset, much like they would have thought of network primetime television in the past. And the cost we get on it, or the investment we get, is really terrific, and we make a good profit on it. So that's the last point, which is, so how do you monetize something like this? And certainly there's the traditional model of, well, we think of video, we stick an ad in front, or we stick an ad in the middle. There's no ads. This is not a show where there's pre-roll, mid-roll, post-roll. It's a live show. And for many years, we did the old sponsorship model. Presenting sponsor, gold sponsor, platinum sponsor, packages. And that kind of stalled us out a little bit because as it was growing in viewership and we were ramping that production value, we were having to say to people, it's $1 million presenting sponsorship opportunity. And they're like, yeah, I don't know, we're not going to do $1 million one-day thing. And that stalled us a bit. And then what we realized is as we built that distribution up, and this has become a major show for us, there is a model. It's not the traditional TV model of selling, but it's this cost per minute to be in the show. So what we say to people is, you want to have a segment in the show fully integrated. It's part of the show. It's going to look native, but you're going to talk about your brand. You're going to show a video up there. So you saw that we're premiering games. They get to show their world exclusive premiere trailer. And they then might want to have a developer come up. And it's just, how many minutes on the stage do you want? And we're selling it at a cost per minute basis. And advertisers understand this because we're giving them the engagement metrics. So this is the translation of engagement into revenue in a video world. And it's not just pre-roll. And so it's really something to think about because it's very doable. And I was thinking about some of the Rolling Stone comments. This is the kind of stuff that advertisers are starting to understand. They want native experiences. We do have to monetize it with a metric. And this one has unlocked a lot of value for us because what ends up happening is it's quite a scarce resource or inventory. And so we say there's only so many minutes in a 90-minute show. And they're not all sold. It's about half editorial, half paid. A lot of it looks the same. And so we just do a pretty, and here's my favorite part. I'll show my true colors. We do a pretty hardcore pitch on it, which is we start out pitching everybody, and then we just start locking down the minutes. And everybody wants minutes in the first third. And guess what? Minutes in the first third cost more than in the middle third and more than in the final third. And so as we're closing them down, it's just like you really are getting to put that urgency to close. And then every year we just charge more for the minutes. And so it's an exciting case to consider for all of you. Now, we don't think we have it perfect. I'd love to hear about how you approach some of these challenges and what you think about our approach. But again, Steve, super pleased to be here and share this case because I do think it hits on a lot of your points. I'm going to look forward to meeting you all throughout the day.
Luke, thank you very much. We have time for questions. I got a laundry list of questions myself, but I want to hear yours first.
Half advertising?
Yeah. So that wasn't a question. That's just either a judgmental comment or you're impressed, one or the other. But thank you. I appreciate that. Make me feel very warm and welcome. My people.
Do you get any pushback from viewers, and what are the disclosures to the viewers about how it's being monetized?
We don't get pushback because the beautiful thing about content in, I think, today's world from brand advertisers is they're challenged to do more than just create 30-second ads or banner ads. They're challenged to have content that really engages people. They're faced with the same challenges that we all are. And so I think that's quite symbiotic. I think that they cannot build distribution like that. They don't have the authority to do it. And they want to bring something really special to the table. And so there's no pushback from viewers because it's now a platform. If you want to debut a PC game and you want people to know about it at E3, you can go buy a booth, and you probably will, from the ESA, and you have your demo station there. But this is 5.9 million people. And so I think it's quite a good balance.
I want to ask you about some of the partnerships. First of all, tell us about Twitch as a platform or a distribution platform. Twitch is a monster that I think has sort of gone under the radar of a lot of people, both on the advertiser side, but even on the media side. Tell us a little bit more about Twitch as a distribution platform and the kind of partnership that you had with them.
Yeah, sure. It's an amazing platform. And so it certainly has this synonymous with gaming, because that's where its roots are, and that's where there's still a lot of interest. But as we think about the world that we live in, and video is a huge part of it, and young people are a huge part of it, and innovation is a huge part of it, Twitch is a platform where young people watch video, comment on video live and in real time, share it, interact with it, and gaming is becoming, we'll use the advent of Fortnite, but it's not the only one. It's becoming one of the primary drivers of entertainment, and it runs so close with technology. And so Twitch is an amazing platform to reach young people who are consuming streaming content, but your content has to really speak to them. It can't just be you're pushing something through there, or it doesn't get big viewership.
What's the nature of the partnership, though? Are you paying to be there? Are you rev sharing with them? How does that work?
Yeah, there is a value exchange there for sure, which is us paying them. It is not structured as a rev share. We're running it through a channel, which is the PC Gamer channel on Twitch. So they're making money, we're making money, and it's a fair balance. I think they've got a good balance on how they do that. I'm happy to talk offline more on what the structure of the relationship is.
Another relationship I wanted to touch on is your partnership with IGN, a direct competitor.
Yeah.
Tell us how that worked in terms of both parties' willingness to do this. What sort of caveats and what sort of reservations and what sort of limitations were involved there? What did you learn from having a partnership with a direct competitor?
Yeah, this is why I think we're all here. So I haven't noticed anyone from Google or Facebook here. I don't think there's anyone from Amazon here. If you are, come say hi to me. Love all those companies. And we're faced with a level of competition that's not me versus Digital Trends, although they're a friendly competitor of mine as well, and they were here in the room today. But it's all of us competing to get a hold of that 20% that's not spent in the consolidated world. And I think that there are opportunities in publishing, and whatever your specialty is, if it's local news, if it's games, if it's tech, it's really providing a special value to a user that the big players can't. And so the way we see it is there is some co-opetition there, and IGNC is a fully differentiated asset. They don't have that show. They know that their viewers want to consume this content. They know that it will increase their traffic, that it increases their engagement. And so I think there is a good co-opetition network effect there, Steve, where pretty simple partnership. They just streamed it live on their site as well. And we were super pleased with that. There was no value exchange on that other than they're able to grow their user base, and I'm sure they monetize that however they chose to. But we're just pleased to have a world where certainly we compete against IGN, but we also believe that if we all do well in this pretty tough environment to compete, and we all innovate around how publishers drive engagement, use video, make money, drive profit, then it's a stronger world. Like, we don't just get shut down, we do better. And I think that's why we're all here, to learn from each other.
And then my last question is about building a video franchise.
Sure.
Now, remind me again, is this is an annual one-shot, or is there an ongoing PC gamer show franchise that's evolving and staying in touch with users throughout the year? And I'm also curious how this relates to the broader video program at Future.
Sure. So this, as it stands right now, is a one-shot. It's a one-day show. The brand of the show is The PC Gaming Show. It is sitting underneath a master brand called PC Gamer, which is both a magazine and then a website, PCGamer.com. And the magazine is recognized as the world's authority, this is our claim, on PC gaming. And so we make that claim based on traffic in the specific subcategory of PC gaming versus the total game roll-up. And so yes, there's an ongoing relationship with the master brand, which is we've got a lot of repeat visitors at the site. We still have a strong subscription base on the magazine, and we're an important part about how users that have passion, have the need to buy products in PC gaming, consume content, and so they wait for this show. And so we build it up throughout the year, and we are thinking about how we could extend it. And so when I talk about ramping production value or ramping investment in a franchise, it's only when we're confident that we can do it in a way where we can make money. And we're gaining that confidence now all the time, and I think that's one of the key takeaways, which is if you've got a hit, then you start to think about how you layer different monetization elements onto it. And so I'll give you one example of how we're looking to extend it, which is we believe a lot in content to commerce, right? And that was all of your comments, like this is becoming an important thing, like content actually drives commerce. And we're really kind of thinking about it, could this one-day moment help us kick off, and I don't want to call it Amazon Prime Day, that would be a little bit arrogant, but kick off an opportunity for computers and peripherals to be able to give special deals around PC gaming that then extend the video franchise into a significant shopping moment. So that's a way that we would think about extending it, if that's helpful.
Well, but I was really curious because this is highly unusual to talk about a franchise in terms of an annual. I mean, most franchise building is around regularity and frequency, but in this case, it's an annual show that's only been done 5 times, and it's a franchise.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you another example. We're about to run in November another similar show, live show. It's called the Golden Joystick Awards. We give out sort of best awards for global games. It's run in London, but it's an international distribution. There's voting beforehand. It's a streaming video show. We run it one time a year. And again, big numbers in terms of revenue, growth, viewership, and engagement. So I think we found a model here where we believe it's a franchise because we can repeat it and grow it, and it continues to increase in engagement, viewership, and then money. And then we make sure it's profitable along the way.
Luke, Edson, this is really cool. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
bringing
Steve.
it to us.
Thanks, everyone.